Welcome to week 15 of my self-important Magic the Gathering show. This week is Gruul, the color combination of red and green. This is another week that I'm really excited to do. I only have one deck. What's that baseball term? On deck. For this week, but I can come up with other ones quickly. This one I'm excited for because it is Halana and Alena partners. Well, the commander is the partner versions because that amuses me. Halana, Kessig Ranger is 3 and a green for a 3/4 human archer with reach. And whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 2. When you do, that creature deals damage equal to its power to target creature. So, yeah, that's a punch or a bite, whatever you prefer to call it. And she has partner, of course. This one really shows that some of these other ones should have just had partner with. Why would you team up Halana with anyone else? Then we have Alena, Kessig Trapper. 4 and a green for a 4/3 first strike. Tap to add an amount of red equal to the grace power amongst creatures you control that enter the battlefield this turn. Partner. Halana and I have a bond that'll never be broken. And then, of course, already in this deck is Halana and Alena partners, the card they printed to let people know that they were not sisters or roommates. No matter what archaeologists might try to say in the future. That's 2, a red and a green for 2/3 human ranger. So, I guess they decided they didn't want to be a human ranger scout. They just, Alana getting slightly erased there, I guess. Or Alena. Sorry. But they have first strike and reach, so it kept both of those things. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put X +1/+1 counters on another target creature you control, where X is Halana and Alena's power. That creature gains haste till end of turn. So that's neat. It's a haste enabler, a slightly embiggener. Halana and Alena are partners. Is definitely a good enough legendary creature to be a commander in its own right, but it's going in this deck. You might be able to guess what the gimmick of this, well, not gimmick, I guess, the underlying theme of this deck will be just from looking at all this. But we got to get our lands in the deck first. T land, T forest, or T mountain. Once again, putting the T land there is more of a time saver for later than anything that was actually necessary. So, 2 or more basic lands, Surveil, regular forest, regular mountain, snow duel, cycling duel, snow, shockland, and quote-unquote fixed dual land. Maybe this will be the last episode I go through this on. In future episodes, I'll have this all already done. We'll see. I'll admit it's padding the episode doing this, and I'm fine with that. Oh, Arena of Glory definitely should go in here. It enters taps unless you control a mountain. It taps a red, or you can tap it and another red to add double red, so you're not losing mana. And then if you cast it on a creature spell, the creature gets haste until end of turn. So this is incredibly worth it. Castle Garenbrig for the 1 point of ramp, as long as you really, really wanted green mana. And also to balance out our mana sources. This is a reveal land, because you can reveal from your hand. There's the Verge. There's the Unless You Control. I think that's called the check land. I don't think we need Yavi Maya, the Cradle of Growth, but we can always come back for it. If we find that we put in stuff with like Forest Walk, like this can be a nice thing to have in there, and then put in a expedition map to make sure we draw it. Like some, call that low power cheap tech. Now we want the 2 or mores. Remember to put in the quotation marks. 2 or more basics already in here. 2 or more opponents, and 2 or more other. Let's put in our basics. Then go all printings, and oh heck. Is it 2 ends? Yes. So there's the Innistrad Remastered, right? Yep. Once again, I do like these old frames for a lot of things. Like, I respect that this frame with the, I guess I'll call it the truncated border, gives you more art space, just a bit, or at least more horizontal art space. It looks like you might have slightly less vertical art space. Oh no, they just move it slightly down. Like, I'd have to put them over each other to really see that. Let's see. Then we have the Crimson Vow. I think this is the double feature version? No, I don't think double feature. There's the Midnight Hunt. Dang, that's an $11 land. Look at that. Made by edition date. Which one? This is kind of like a, which one's my favorite? Let's go. Well, first let me hit back. 4, 3, 2, 1. Go back to all printings. It still has my selection. Okay, the thing I don't like about these lands is that they're in black and white. So if I'm being quite honest, I'd rather not pick them. It's funny that Arena is an option. And the reason why I don't like them is because even with this, it's hard to tell what lands your opponents are tapping, and I just feel that's kind of rude. So let's add that, switch to that for this one, and we'll go 3 of that one, and 2 of this one. Yes. And then we go down here to the mountain. You know what? I feel like this part I would leave in, even if I did put lands ahead of time. Add his new card. Switch to edition. This one I want 3. Whoops. I almost want to make that all 5, but there we go with that. Two, 3, 4, 5. All printings. This part is easy. 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. What's mildly upsetting is that they don't even show the full art versions of these that you can get on Arena, because I would proxy those. Because I really like this. Because I really like this mountain. This mountain I actually like. The only thing I don't like is the brambly green one. and a couple of the other ones. I guess I only really like the snow-covered mountains. I'd have to look at all of them, like, to really get it going. But that has me at 33. So card search, land base. I'll go by cycles. Not sure how much it matters. So we want that. So that's 34. Oh, 35 for the turf. Thank you for always for reminding me that. The Carplusian Forest. Is that 36? There's another one that I want to add just because it exists, but I don't think anyone actually puts it in their deck because it's kind of on purpose bad. Anyway, we'll put the Firelit Thicket, which is kind of useless by itself. Is that 37? Yep, that's 37. Then we're going to go here. We're going to go here. I'm going to find it, and then I'll probably put it... Although the command tower was kind of funny because it can be like the Ranger Tower. I really like that Cinderglade art too, even though it's radioactive. T land O opponent. No. Grove of the Burn Willows. It's like the opposite of the Painland. This is the only one they made. They did reprint it a few times. So that's a... Oh, because it was a future... I think it started as a... Yeah, it started as a future sight land. And so the future sight this idea, and they never finished it, which is unfortunate. I don't know what IMA is. But it was a Zendikar expedition. We're gonna do that because I do like that one. If I'm being perfectly honest. So we're at 38, and we should minus down 1. Maybe minus down the command tower. Though on theme, I like it. All printings. Do we have any Innistrad ones? Nope, we have an arena one. Let's... Oh, I know what one would be kind of good. Never mind, it's a... That feels more Ixalan-y. Now, if it was a park tower and not like this... What makes us think Ranger... Oh, you know what? This has a rainbow in it, and I don't mind leaning into my own terrible jokes. But we're still 1 over, and I'm keeping the one that lets our opponents gain 1 life. I think... Oh, I know which one I'm going to get rid of. I just have to remember what it was called, which I don't. Gallia is not Game Trail. The Firelit Thicket, because you need another land for it to be a land. There. Although as far as like theme of just our commander, something called the Commercial District doesn't fit, then neither does an Arena or of Glory or Castle Garenbrig, but even though that's one that comes into play untapped, I'd rather the ones that I put in. Okay, so now, ramp package, Farseek, of course. If we have green in the deck, we may as well use the Land Tutor ramp. Nat Lore. 3 visits. Just type the whole word out into the north. Rampant Growth. There we go, that's that 5. And then Pride from a Cold Dead Hands. Arcane Signet. Gruul Signet. Talisman of, I think it was Impulse? Yep. And then one more. Well, honestly, we might go 2 to 3 more because we want the 2 diamonds. So it is Fire Diamond. Although, actually, I don't normally use the creature ones because they can just be bolted. But I don't know. It feels on theme for what I'm going for. Okay, and now our removal. Scroll to top. T. Instant. O. Permanent. Order. CMC. What was it? The Rakdos decks made me go, oh, hey, these red cards exist. And I think, and even though they're not like great pieces of removal, I kind of want to still use them, even though they don't really go with the theme specifically. I just think they're neat. Oh, we're going to use Destructive Revelry because it is target artifact or enchantment plus a shock. Do we want Heroic Intervention? We really should like have anti-board wipe stuff, but like I'm mildly lazy. Destroy a permanent, they get a free thing off their deck. Don't care. Beast Within. I think the other ones are also 3. For each, oh yeah, Guff writes history. Oh, and it counts as cast too. That is so interesting. Instead of just putting it into play, so we'll do that. Oh, non-enchantment too. So it can only hit artifacts and creatures and, well, I guess battles and planeswalkers, but that's still cool. Transforming Flourish, that was one of the other ones. And now we're at 4, which is full of stuff that I don't want to go that far. There we go. We're just going back to the top. No, I didn't have to scroll. I just felt like it. 6 pieces of removal is not great. Oh, wait, no. Haha. Vandal B. I mean, I know we're in green, but I like Vandal Blast. So, like, this is me commenting again on how it's weird that Archidect can understand my typos, but it doesn't understand when I put words out of order. Like if I type north, it might not find Into the North. And yet, then over on Moxfield, I can type in north and it'll understand I mean Into the North, but it cannot parse typos whatsoever. I feel like they should share notes and just make a better card searcher. Pest Infestation. I could probably explain how that goes in the theme of the deck, but I want to get to the theme of the deck first. And it actually amuses me now that I think about it. We'll probably put in some other fight effects, but for now, what are we at? We're at 59. Yeah, let's get to the rest of the creatures because we have one creature besides our partner commanders. So we're gonna go T creature art woman. Hopefully this. Okay, cool. I'm going to take out this just to make sure that this was successful and I'm not just getting, like, in my head bias. Although that is showing me a very specific art for adaptive automaton. Okay, so that abbot is a dude, aberrant is a dude. Or at least genderless. So we can put this back in and trust that it knew what I was talking about. So, the theme of this deck is going to be strong women. Activated abilities of creatures you control cost X left to activate, where X is Agatha the Vile Cauldron's power. Okay. This effect can't reduce the mana in that cost to less than 1 mana. Okay. And then... Oh, this kind of goes well with Halana and Alena partners, because we can use... But we need to have other activated abilities. I'm still going to put her in the deck. Other creatures in control get +1/+1 ton and trample and haste until end of turn. Like if we can, like this technically only costs 5, but if we get her power up, we can just make it cost red-green. Ajani's comrade is a lady, but we're not going to have any Ajani planeswalkers. A comb battle singer, and that has to do with allies. And while that is kind of funny and technically on theme, I'm not going to search out the ally creature type. Akum Stonewalker. That's a landfall with taxes. A Chroma Angel of Fury, 5 red, red, red. For a spell that cannot be countered, flying, trample, protection from white and blue. And then she's also a morph creature, which is interesting. And then she also has fire breathing. We're not going to use her because she's a little expensive. Alloy Animus, no. Altec Blood Seeker, no. Ambergris Maul, discard your hand and draw a card for each player being attacked. No, we ain't doing that. Amy Pond is partners with a dude who is also not in this deck's colors. Inara, Wolvid Familiar. Your commanders are indestructible on your own turn. Angrath's Marauders. If a source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, deals double that damage. Sure. Because that sounds like a thing we'd put in once we get to things like Fiery Emancipation and City on Fire. Citizen Hero. No, we're not doing any heroics. Make green insects. Apprentice Sharpshooter. Ardent Electromancer. We're not doing party shenanigans. Dust Speaker. We're not doing energy stuff. Oh, Arasta. I just like making spiders anytime an opponent casts an instant or sorcery. It's like, it's not even that strong of an effect if you like think of higher power commander. But in lower power commander, you get these little derpy blockers that can at least block something with flying. I don't know if you hear me drinking, but I are the thirsty. Elementalist. She makes shoes. Whenever she or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, that creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. And she makes goblins. An enchantress, an opportunist, a sprite, Ashling the Pilgrim, Ashling Flame Dancer, Arwen Weaver of Hope. Oh, this Arwen is kind of interesting. Once again, if we had some of this stuff would be better if the single Halana Alena card was commander, like this and Agatha. Each other creature you control enters the battlefield with a number of additional +1/+1 counters equal to Arwen Weaver of Hope's toughness. I'm gonna put that in for now. I mean, we always have room to remove stuff later. Atarka is a lady dragon, and don't you forget it. Not that this one goes in this deck, because that's for Dragon Tribal. Typal, sorry. The Bad Influence. That's not this deck, but I do like her. Augur of Autumn. Allows us to play lands from the top of our library. Which isn't bad. I don't know if we need it, but that's something we can come back for. Technically counts as ramp. Axiom Engraver. Bear. Ayumi, the Last Visitor. Legendary Landwalk. People don't play a whole lot of legendary lands, but that is kind of a sweet ability. Just on theme. You ain't keeping her from visiting the landmarks. Additional lands, belligerent guest. Lady Beast Whisperer. This must be a Judge promo. Oh, Beast of Burden. That's the Beast of Burden, and then there's a lady there. Battlesong Berserker, Visara Tower Archer, Bellowing Bruiser, Billipots, in case anyone was wondering because of the name. Good on them for having a non-gender conforming name. It can be difficult. Bloodbraid Elf has Cascade. Blade Tribe, Bitterbow Sharpshooters. At least I'm saying the names of stuff out loud, so it's not just dead air. Took me a while to figure that one out, huh? First strike as long as it's attacking. Bloodthirsty Adversary. Bloom Tender. For each color among permanents you control, add 1 mana of that color. That's actually worth it for 2. But I'll keep the Birds of Paradise. Boarding Party also has Cascade. Bola Warrior. Spell Shaper. Whenever I get around to making that Madness deck, gotta remember that Spell Shapers exist. All Spell Shapers have a ability. Discard a card, do a thing. Boreal Outrider. I do have Snowlands in the deck, but I cannot guarantee them on the field. Borderland Marauder. Battalion. Oh, that's when it and at least 2 other things attack. I think that's what that means. Brazen Freebooter. Creates a treasure. Barbage Tracker. Bronze Bombshell. That one never fails to amuse me. Burning Tree Emissary. High Exist. High Mana Rebate. No. Refund, actually, kind of. Kate, Cage Brawler. What does she do? She's indestructible on your turn. Whenever Kate attacks, you and defending player each draw a card, then discard a card. Put 2+1/+1 counters on Kate if you discarded the card with the highest mana value among those cards or tied for highest. That's interesting, but I'm not gonna do that. Captain Ripley Vance wants you to cast 3 spells a turn. That's... I feel like you really need to build around that. Captain Lannery Storm gets you a treasure when she attacks. And anytime you sacrifice a treasure, she gets +1/+0 till end of turn. And she has haste. 3 mana for a 2/2 human pirate. I like her. Kind of want Ripley Vance in the deck, but like this, like you really need to build around this, like with plot and foretell stuff and anything else that gets you discount on spells. Doric, Nature's Warden. Oh, that's right, she can transform into an owl bear. When Doric, Nature's Warden, enters the battlefield, search your library for a forest card. Doesn't have to be basic. Put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Whenever she attacks, you can pay 1 in a green. If you do, you transform her into a 6/6. When this creature transforms into Doric, other legendary creatures you control get +2/+2 and trample until end of turn. At the beginning of your upkeep, you transform her back. I like that. Pay 2 for +2/+2 and trample. Though it's a $35 card, probably should proxy that. Lady Centaur. Chandra's Fire Ma is somehow a lady. Or oh, there. Chandra's way back here. That's why. If you cast red spells, you can transform her. Not really mess. We kind of want a Chandra and a Nissa in this deck, but I don't know which one. Especially since this is the only one that's a creature, and I really am not interested in putting any of the planeswalkers in this deck. Her Magmut, it's because she's way back there in the background. And then there she is there for the Phoenix, and there she is for her Spitfire. The Charming Scoundrel is neat. Child of the Pack. Clara Oswald definitely doesn't go in this because we're not going to have any doctors. I mean, there's exactly one doctor in this deck that we could have, but we're probably not putting her in here. That's the Fugitive. Conclave Naturalists. You know, you call them naturalists, but I feel like they'd be more natural than that, but you can't exactly print that on a card. Courser of Crewfix, another thing that lets us play lands from the top, but also has this silly landfall ability. Oh yes, because of the Curious Pair, one of them is a girl, right? Daybreak Combatants, Daybreak, Deadeye. Defiant Survivor. I will put in the Delighted Halfling, because it casts legendary spells that can't be countered. Oh, the Wild Mage, I always like that. She's cool. Destiny Spinner. Okay, there we go. Dragon Lord Atarka. Is this one playable? When Dragon Lord Atarka enters, it deals 5 damage divided as you choose amongst any number of target creatures and/or planeswalkers your opponents control. I guess that's more playable, but we're still not going to do that. Donna Noble has a neat ability, but I don't think we're going in that direction either. Diggity Doo. some dwarves, some Afrits, stuff for elves. Max the Daredevil, in case you were ever curious. Elves. Yep. Oh, this is a nice elvish mystic. Oh, it's because it's Hatsune Miku's secret lair. That makes sense. Oh, the Embereth Shield Maid Breaker might be a lady, or it might be counting one of these other characters. It's hard to tell. Emrakul is apparently a lady. Essence Warden. Faldorn Dreadwolf Herald. Whenever you cast a spell... Oh, yeah. From exile. Experiment 12. Falcon Wrath. People. Why is this a gold card? Oh, it's because it's all colors, but it doesn't affect its color identity. This is why I don't like cards talking about commanders and color identity. It just makes weird stuff like that. Fire Elemental is... I'm gonna call that a lady, sure. It's at least feminine presenting. The Flamekin are pretty cool looking. Flaming Tyrannosaurus, sure, I guess that's a lady. Fumiko the Lowblood. Oh, right. Yeah, no, Fumiko the Lowblood is actually kind of a cool card. 2 red for a 3/2 human samurai. Fumiko the Lowblood has Bushido X, where X is the number of attacking creatures. Whenever this creature blocks or becomes blocked, it gets +X until end of turn. And then creatures our opponents control attack each combat if able. That's kind of funny. Probably would bite us in the butt, but it means that they attack with all of their stuff, and then Fumika will theoretically become strong enough to take out their biggest attacker. If they choose to attack us with anything. Vindalhorn Elves. Oh, it's because of her. That's funny. Gallia the Endless Dance. She's cool, but like there are not enough satyrs. If we have time, I might just try to make a satyr tribal anyway, just to see what we can pull off. Just for this discard at random thing, too. Like, I don't think I could make a good deck out of this. I do not think I'm good enough. But I just like how she isn't... Her, like Gisa, are one of those living their best life characters in Magic the Gathering. And you gotta be happy for them. Oh, Galta. Galta is canonically a lady. We're doing this one and not this one because this requires us to hold on to creature cards into our hand. And at how much she costs, even if it's green. I don't see that happening. Are we saying Ginger Brood is canonically a lady? Or there's like a cook chef back there that I don't see? That is... Well, this goose is a lady because it's laying eggs. But I don't think we need it. Glissa Sunseeker is always fun. Destroy target artifact if its converted mana cost is equal to the amount of mana in your mana pool. That's You tap a bunch of mana, and then before you use it, you tap that to destroy an artifact. That's so weird. That's literally only something you can get away with on your own turn, I feel. Well, I guess Goreclaw's a lady bear. I didn't know that. That's actually news to me. Huh. Grand Warlord Rada. Whenever one or more creatures you control attack, add that much mana in any combination of red and or green until end of turn. You don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. Well, that's interesting. Greensleeves, one of my favorite characters from the books. Although, you know, of the books that weren't a set before they became a book, the only two of them have cards, I think, Greensleeves and Garth. Guardian Automaton, Gruul, Spellbreaker. Reminds me of other cards that I'll probably put in this one. Gut the True Soul Zealot. There's Hans Eriksson because Safi's back there. Harsh Mentor. I'm pretty sure that's a dude, but there's a lady somewhere else here in the art, I guess. Harrier Naga. Harmonic Prodigy. Going back, Harmonic Prodigy is not going in this deck, but like it's just a card you really need to remember exists if you're ever doing wizards or shamans. Hazoret. Blue. There we go. Headliner Scarlet. When Headliner Scarlet enters the battlefield, creatures target player controls can't block this turn. Oh, that's kind of a finisher, isn't it? At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library face down. You may look and play that card this turn, and then a little bit of extra draw. Sure, why not? Heiko, you can play artifacts from your graveyard when she attacks. Or when a Samurai Warrior attacks alone, I should say. Hornet Queen. Imodane the Pyro Hammer, but again, we're not targeting our own stuff with instants or sorceries. More elf stuff, Incubation Druid, Incorrigible Youths. Araxa, if we were doing stuff with not casting from our hand. Evora, Insatiable Air. Whenever you discard a card, yeah, we're not dealing with that. Tokens we control, but we're not making a whole lot of tokens. Jessica, before she was a Planeswalker. She's a very weird Tim. Since she's 4 mana for a 3/1 Barbarian with First Strike and Haste. Then we have Jaya Ballard, the Task Mage, and then we have Jaxis, the Troublemaker. Oh, Jolene, one, if not both of these might be making its deck. Whenever you attack with one more creature with power 4 or greater, create a treasure token. And then you can sacrifice treasures to have her punch stuff. And then Jolene, the Plunder Queen. Whenever a player attacks one or more of your opponents, the attacking player gets a treasure token. Okay. Encourages people to attack, not us. If you create one or more treasures, you get an additional treasure. And then you can sacrifice 5 treasures to make her bigger. We'll do that. We're going to put her in because she at least is a power 4 or greater that can make her own treasure. Holga must be blocked. And then... Wait, hold on. Whenever Holga attacks, each player you control attacking a player gets +1/+0 until end of turn for each creature that player controls. That's mildly interesting. We'll put her in here. Karlach. Whenever you attack, if it's the first combat phase, you get an additional combat phase. Okay, we'll put her in. Like, we're not like really leaning into anything. This is kind of a gimmick deck, but I don't think the deck will be bad. I'm not sure if Kolga is the lady or if there's like a lady in his hand, in their hand. I guess Klothys is a lady. I actually like Klothys. As long as your devotion to green and red is less than 7, that's not a creature. But at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, exile a card from a graveyard. Oh, it's target card too, so someone somehow made their graveyard hexproof. You can't do it. If it was a land, you ramp for that turn. Otherwise, you gain 2 life and each opponent takes 2 damage. I think that's worth 3. God of Kinship. Kira is a lady dragon. I didn't know that. Lelia, she's a cool card. Latulia, Keldon Overseer. Oh, she's a spell shaper. Oh, well, that's interesting. Lathlis, she's a queen, obviously. Leela, I like her. She gets bigger anytime an opponent draws a card that wasn't their fair magic card. Lily Bowen, Raging Grandma. 3 and a green for a 0/0 mutant warrior. Vigilance. Lily Brown, Raging Grandma, enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters. That is not a whole lot of +1/+1 counters for the amount of mana you put into her. At the beginning of your upkeep, double the number of +1/+1 counters on Lily Brown, or Lily Bowen, I'm sorry, if its power is 16 or less. Otherwise, remove all but 1 +1/+1 counters from it, and then you gain 1 life. That's probably never going to happen, but I just like that she's Lily Bowen, Raging Grandma. Like, that by itself earned her a spot. Well, hey, there's another legend that deserves to be retold. First Strike Legendary Landwalk. Oh, and then there's the $160 Llanowar Elves that is really cool looking. Because it's, anime waifu Llanowar Elves. Cast a non-creature spell. Magda, Brazen Outlaw. She's cool, but like we're not going to be searching our deck for dragons or artifacts, so I'm not too worried about that. We can sacrifice treasures to make scorpion dragons, but we're not going to do that either. So sorry, Magda, you don't make it into the deck. Oh, well, the specific tech versus infect. Scholar of Antiquity, tap an untapped non-token artifact you control to add green. And then also has some impulsive draw. I'm not sure where the lady is in this Meteor Golem art. Maybe this Meteor Golem is a lady. I guess that's what they're going for. I suppose I can see it. Yeah, and that's good enough for me. Because Meteor Golem is a good piece of removal as long as you have 7 mana. Mina Undin, Wild Boar. Extra lands. Miri the Cat Warrior. There's our Forest Walk that just isn't worth it. Monastery Swiftspear. Stay in Standard. Or Pioneer, or wherever it's raising heck. Nikya of the old ways can't cast non-creature spells. Which is funny, because if we go by the old ways of Magic the Gathering, you don't cast creature spells because they were all terrible. You tried to win by some kind of combo because there was so much, the removal was so much better than the creatures. Unless, of course, you were playing for fun and had like a gimmicky elf for Goblin deck. Which, of course, I did. I think I don't know if I've actually mentioned it, but Typal is my favorite type of deck. And that's why I'm trying not to do it for this series. At least not obvious Typals like creature or typeline Typal. Cast creatures from the top of our deck. Oracle of Modiah, that's more card lands from the top of our library. Old Gnawbone. The Windmorist Dragon that I still like putting in decks. Snake Ladies. The Paradise Druid. Sage Lifecrafter. Platinum Angel. No, we ain't doing that. The Pixie Queen. Boy, that's how bad creatures were back in the day. 4 mana for a 1/1 with flying and a seriously overpriced ability. And it's $40 because it's probably on the reserve list. A thing that I don't agree with its existing, because I feel like they could have done that better. Because they could, instead of having a specific list, this is me getting on my soapbox, they could have just had these guidelines and go, you want to know if we're going to reprint a card or not? Well, look at these parameters. Is it too powerful and we feel it was a mistake? Then we're not going to print it again. Or, did it get power crept out of the game? We're probably not going to print it again. And I feel like that would have been much easier. And because then you can say things like probably instead of definitely. Like, they didn't have to make a definitive list, is what I'm saying. We put in the Professional Facebreaker. Because, like, apparently I'm having this treasure token sub-theme. But, or sub-mechanic, since it's not really a theme. Not that we're going to be... I don't know how much treasure stuff we're actually going to do. Right, a Coalition Warlord. When they become tapped, another target creature you control gets +X on a turn, where X is the number of basic land types under the lands you control. I think +2/+2 is fine. And she's a 3/3 for 4. Then we have Rada, Heart of Keld. As long as your turn, she has first strike. You may look at the top card of your library at any time, and you may play lands from the top of your library. And then she gets +X null to turn, whereas X is the number of lands you control. I might go back and put in some of those other lands from the top of your library stuff, but I feel like she is definitely her own deck. And that's definitely a dual commander deck. And what's funny is that she does not natively have trample. Oh, I like Heir to Keld because she's a 2/2 for 2. That adds double red when you attack, which goes away if you don't spend it immediately, because there's nothing in it that says that it don't. And that she's also a mana dork. But I wanted all of the Radas in the deck. There's Rada's Firebrand. What does that do? I can make a thing weaker than it not be able to block. That's neat. I think there's another Rada, because I think she's one of the team-up legends from March of the Machines. But I think it says the other person's name first. That is a hard-to-look-at card, isn't it? The Reckless Fireweaver. Renata called to the hunt, puts +1/+1 counters on stuff. I kind of like that. It's kind of a thing that we're doing. Let's see. Rhyme Tender, untap snow permanents. Rionia, Fire Dancer. Okay, that's a mix of Spellweaver and or Spellslinger and not Spellslinger. That is actually starting to give me a headache. Oh, Rosnacht Erderogra, Roga. She has Battle Cry, but you have to target her with spells. When Roshin Roaring Prophet enters the battlefield, mill X cards while he already lost me. Oh, and also has X in the mana cost stuff. Oh, Roxanne, Starfall Savant. She deserves her own deck as well. Ruby the Daring Tracker is a haste mana dork. That's actually good. That might take out the Birds of Paradise, but I don't know. I might take out some of the... Nah, I'm going to leave in all of my ramp, because some of my ramp is creatures. Load more results. We're almost at the end of the alphabet here. Sachi, daughter of Seshiro. Sakiko, mother of summer. Whenever a creature control deals combat damage to a player, add that much green. Oh, this is another Kamigawa one. I just realized, and I just didn't recognize it because it was in a reprint. And Commander Masters, I guess, CMM. I said that before, but I'm not 100% sure if that's correct. But like a snake deck is definitely something I kind of want to do in the future, especially with all these Orochi. Not Orochi. Were they called Orochi? Whatever. I just like all these Kamigawa snakes. Whenever a creature control deals combat damage to a player, if that creature entered this turn, you draw a card. That goes with some of the stuff. My two favorite old school sets are the Dark, which you'd think I'd like Legends just as much, but I feel like the Dark looks slightly different than Legends in their border. The Dark and Revised. I just like the way their cards look. Scorned Villager. Scrapyard Steelbreaker. Selvala, Heart of the Wilds. We can't guarantee that we have the creature with the greatest power, but I still like it as kind of, it's another Halana, Alena, whichever one was the red one. The Seven Dwarves. Well, I guess one of the Seven Dwarves could be a lady. There's no reason why they all have to be dudes. In fact, being 7 brothers is kind of weird. Oh yeah, way back there. I'm pretty sure that one is a lady if you can see my mouse pointer. That one could be a lady too, who knows? I mean, these are dwarves. This also could be a lady. Don't freaking judge. Now that I'm like getting mad at myself for no reason. Shizuko, Color of Autumn. Sister of Flame. This is not a good card by any stretch of the imagination, but it is very tempting to put her in here, because this is the first red mana dork that was just tap add mana. In fact, we're gonna click this. Yep, and then we're going set commander. Yep, originally from the Dark. And then reprinted once in 4th edition. You know what? Don't care. Sister of the Flame. We're paying our respects. We're paying our respects to really old cards. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. But I can do this and go, oh hey look, I've kind of have too many creatures, but we'll get to that. There's, you know what? They're saying that version of Solemn. Summerwild Dryad. Sulfim Mayhem Dominus. Sure. I'm not gonna question it. Spearpoint Oread. Huh. Spiteful Prankster. That's an SLD. As long as it's your turn, Spiteful Prankster has first strike. Whenever another creature dies, Spiteful Prankster deals 1 damage to target creature or planeswalker. April Fools. Huh. That's an Aristocrats card in red. That is honestly kind of interesting. But I don't think the Spiteful Prankster itself is the lady on that card. Surak and Goreclaw, because Goreclaw is apparently a lady. And this one, are they trying to say Surak is actually a lady as well? Or is there a lady back here? I don't know. Whatever. Honestly don't care. Tana the Bloodsower. This is a partner commander that I really want to build around, but I don't know what partner I want to partner them with. There's a thing you can put in the comments. Like, what partner do you think goes well with Tana the Bloodsower? And it really can't be anyone that I've used before. And you have to come up with like some kind of lore reason. Even it can be a thinly stretched reason that defies most logic, but not as it's like, oh, team up with Tevish Zod, that totally makes sense. No. Well, maybe it does. I don't know. I actually don't know her story. Tangle Walker. That is such a specific card. Creatures you control are unblockable as long as a defending player controls an artifact land. That is such a specific tech. DST, what is that? Tavern Ruffian, Terran Elemental, Judith's Hellhound, the Space Family Goblinson, Lady of the Mountain, who is also right here, the Lady of Otaria. There's the Fugitive Doctor, but that's about clues and flashback. Timeless Witness, Titania, Protector of Argoth. That's definitely a different deck. Tireless Tracker and Provisioner. Tuya Bearclaw. Whenever she attacks, she gains +X on a turn, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Sure, we'll put her in here. Oh, failed to save changes. That's annoying just because of how far down the alphabet we are. So it was T creature, T, nope, art, woman, order. Did I order this by CMC? Or did I just do this? No, it was in alphabetical order. So watch as we go all the way down to the bottom. We love it when this happens. It's the best part of building a deck on Architect. We were at T, because I remember it was like Tula, Tuna, Tana, then yeah, Tuya is who I wanted to add. Fairchild, Betrayer of Keldor. Fjord. Yeah, Kjeldor. It's Kjeldor because that's that. It's very Nordic. Deals combat damage to a player. That player creates that many survivors. Survivors your opponent's control can't block and they can't attack you or... You know what? That's cool. The Gear Hulk, Varix, an Enchantress. Veronica, Dissident Scribe. What does she do? Okay, you can rummage. And if you rummage a non-land card, you create junk. Okay. The Brawler, the Wall of Heat. This is very interesting art, because I assume the Wall of Heat is coming from this orb, and this is the mage casting it. And this 2 power, it might be some combination of the heat of getting heat stroke from this wall, and her just kicking you. Woodland stuff. Wart the Raid Mother for your very peculiar Gruul Goblins deck. Although I guess that's possible. Just that there's not a whole lot of green goblins. Huh. I mean, they will be printing green goblins soon. But that's still technically a human. Yasmin Khan is cool. The Grave Gardener turns your creatures into forests. Hedron Grinder, Hunger Dominus. Scroll to the top because I just want to see something. Radha. I think the other Radha, yeah, the one that's a partner has another color on it, and that's why it's not here. I'm going to click this button really quick. No, I must just be wrong. Or there's someone who isn't Radha that partners with someone, and I just thought it was Radha. Legend set mom. Kolga and Yadaro. Whatever I'm thinking of, it's not in these colors, maybe. Let's do that again. This is just me. This is me being distracted by my own brain, trying to figure out what the heck it is that I was thinking of. Wrinkle. Load more results. Okay, nope, it wasn't. It was MAT. Okay, thank you. I was like, what the heck? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. What was I thinking of? I have no idea what I was thinking of. There. That's just to clear that off. Anyway, we have 35 creatures. I'm sure we can narrow that back down. Let's go to grid. Like maybe 5 creatures? We'll take out the birds, even though I feel they fit. How many activated abilities do we have that cost mana? The ones we have don't actually cost a whole lot. So we don't need that. Yeah, so we don't need her as much as I like her. How many natively powered greater than 4 do we have? Not a whole lot. So, Ruby, even though she's a mana dork with haste, which is pretty sweet, we'll take her out. We're taking out Rada, Era of Keld. Samut is kind of her own commander, and also if Halana and Alena partners, wherever they are, there they are, we're the commander, so that's its own thing. That's a different deck we can make. So now we're at 30 creatures. We'll come back to this. Like, this is kind of a mess. How many of these are... Most of these are legendary, too. That's what's funny. Like, this is a big mess of creatures. Like, with not a whole lot of cohesion. But I don't hate it. I just think it's funny that this deck is kind of bad. Let's see. What else do we want? Oh, we're at 87, so we have 13 more cards. What I want... Whoops, I actually don't really need to go there for that. I want Fiery Emancipation, so we can do more damage. And then City on Fire, so we can do more damage. And then, oh, what's that one card called? Oh, come on. It gives everything Riot, and creature spells you control can't be countered. Rhythm of the Wild. I was about to put in Cabaret Revels, but that's an alchemy card. A non-alchemy version of that would be broke as heck. What else do we want? We're gonna hit up EDH Rec just for artifacts. Let's see what they think we should put in here. Oh, the boots, the greaves, and the henge. I agree with him. And then we'll put in Mithril Coat as well. And now can have 6 more cards. EDH Rec reminded me of stuff that exists. Xenagos ain't going in here. Garruk ain't going up in here. None of these dudes. Unnatural Growth could go in here. Oh, Tribute to the World Tree should go in here. We could put in Enduring Courage. You know, little animal friend. Fires the Yami of Maya. You know what? Yeah, let's Unnatural Growth. This is probably the last deck we can safely put it in. And then we have 4 more slots. And while I'm trying to have a brain time, have you figured out the theme of the deck? It's strong women. And also kind of like a sub-theme of women loving women. This deck don't need no man. Non-pejorative. Oh, my color coverage is pretty even. I always like that when that happens. Like, the lack of cohesion in the creatures is more my fault than anything else. Like, this is the worst card in the deck, but it's staying in. Because, honestly, back in the day, this was also one of my favorite cards. Because it was like, oh, wow. A red mana dork. You don't see that. I wish it cost less, because it's a 2/2 for 3. But, you know, whatever. So 3 more. Let's go back in here. If I hit up artifacts and I hit search again, it'll say Commander Sphere. That's amusing. We go enchantment and I hit search again. More card draw. Aggravated Assault for extra attack steps. Sylvan Library to card selection. Warstorm Surge is a little expensive. Maybe some instants and sorceries. Heroic Intervention, I understand. Oh yeah, I said maybe I was going to put in some other fight stuff. I'm going to close this, go by categories again. Okay. Maybe Samut can go back in this deck. I don't know how many haste enablers or hasty creatures I have. So hold on. Not haste, not haste. 1 haste. Enters tapped and attacking. So those things would count for Samut. Doesn't have haste. Gives haste, so that's... We're going to count that as 4. Five, because it gives stuff haste. Did I count this one already? Darn it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not really going to count these because you have to equip them. So that's 5. 6, because that's a cast trigger. Right? 1, 2, 3. This is the part where I lose count constantly or forgetting what I have counted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Uh, 22 pieces, just an unnecessary amount of ramp. Let's see. Guff gets a pass, by the way, for the we don't need no man thing. Doesn't have haste. Doesn't have haste. The one with haste. There's 7. Eight. So we have 8. One of them. Yeah. Okay. Let's put back in that Samut. I don't remember which Samut it was. The Vizier. There we go. So now we're at 30. Now we're at 33 creatures, counting our commander, and I'm fine with that. Redoing my math. And then we can have 3 more. I don't know if you hear me clicking around like a Dorcas. Where's our card draw section? Oh, we have 4 pieces of card draw at least, even though like it's not a great section of card draw. Although actually we have card draw over here too, with Professional Facebreaker. But we're going to go over here, or go to here, and it was under enchantment. Whenever a creature you control, we'll do Guardian Project, Elemental Bond, and I assume Colossal Majesty will matter. There we go. We could have put in the Lady Beast Whisperer, but our draw is at least at 7. That's not the worst. And you know what? Our commanders will at least trigger those things. So that's that. We still have plenty of time. Let's do this. And they were roommates. If I could put any like special like fonts here, I would. Strong women doing strong things. I'm not really good at putting in primers, as you might have noticed. Especially in a deck that I didn't really have a cohesive plot other than I wanted it all to be ladies. And honestly, I think these are all individually good cards at least. So we got that going. So new deck. Gruul 2 for now. Card search. T legend T creature. We never did get our genre and Nissa in there, but I'm honestly fine with that. I didn't want any Chandra Planeswalkers, and the Chandra creature that turns into a Planeswalker really didn't go with the deck. And most of the Nissas really didn't go in the deck either. Erg. I should have ordered it by CMC. Oh well. Agatha the Vile Cauldron. I'm just going to add a bunch of things and then we'll figure it out on the other side. Because I did like her. Actually, I think no, I gotta laugh because I think I know what deck I'm gonna make, and it's so silly. I kind of want to put her in it. I think I said something about making it Gallia, but that might be another episode all by itself. General Marthold Eldragon. That guy's getting his own deck, for the record. Okay, I'm doing that. We're not... Okay, so we're not doing the all ladies thing again, but this is the partner. I mean, this is the commander. So we're going to do other +1/+1 token shenanigans. In fact, you know what? Marthold Eldragon's going to get into this deck, too. I'm kind of going back, looking to see if there's anything I want to put in now that I'm not doing the... Other non-token artifact creatures and vehicles you control have modular. Whenever you put one or more +1/+1 counters on Blaster, convert it. Modular 3, so we can... Oh, we can cast it for this side. Well, that's its own deck. That's its own deck that I'm going to mess with. Let's see, Jolene, the Wellspring. That don't go in this deck, tell you what. Because it can't. We're going to do Clothis again just because I like it. It's graveyard hate. That is such an odd card. You goad creatures that are enchanted by an aura you control. There's the old Marthold Eldragon. Maze Crusher. The Wildborn. The Trash Tactician. World Sculptor. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Still not doing the old ways. She's still good, though. She's still good because she's a mana dork, and I like her. What's funny now that I realize that that one mana dork I removed probably could have stayed in. Ragagraga, Gigagugu. That guy with the horrible name. You know, this one. Oh, Roxanne's still staying in here because she makes mana rocks. I like her. Rurkthar. Oh, Samut goes in this one. I should have put Commander instead of color. Stang, they get their own deck. Svella Ice Shaper, I'm surprised she didn't show up. Svea? Maybe they think that's a dude, I'm not sure. Strider, Strax, this Centauran Nurse. I like him because he has a shovel and he's going to beat people with a shovel. You know what? Yes. You're going to go in here because I want to put you on a deck, even though, again, I want to find a good partner for them. It might end up having to be one of the familiars, which is kind of admitting defeat. The Overlord. I'm just going to put her in here. Wolverine, best there is. Okay. So now we're going to do this. Close. Only that has... Oh, I guess... Well, I guess that does count as draw. Sure, why not? Let's just go up here. Open that in a new tab. Because I want to copy all of these things and I completely forgot. So we want land, we want ramp, and we want removal, and we might have to take stuff out. So save those changes. Ding. First we look for stuff that was, yep, the things that got doubled. There we go. We're also taking out Sister of the Flame, because that's some wild nonsense. And we're down to 23 pieces of ramp. Oh, because Agatha counts as one. I think I'm going to take out the Delighted Halfling, too. And do Ruby Daring Tracker this time. Just to be different. And then Meteor, Glissa. Yeah, those things can all stay. That's all fine. What are we at already? We're at 78 already. Let's see. So we need more +1/+1 counter nonsense. Oh, we want Rhythm of the Wild again. Oh, we should have... We're going to open it again. Open that in a new tab. We're going to take the protection. Copy card names. And we're just going to do this really quick. And we import cards. There we go. Save them changes. Anything else over here? I mean, some of these creatures we might want to keep, like Galta. Definitely would. Galta would definitely be good to. Oh, and Arasta, just because she's cool. And then we're at 82. Let's go to type. 22 creatures. That outspelled? Cool. The Primal Hunger, because she is ridiculously strong. And then Arasta, just because I like her. Like, that's basically a pet card to me at this point. futzing with my hair, don't mind me. Let's go to EDH Rec just to see. Oh, like all the things for +1/+1 counters. That, thank you. That, thank you. That, thank you. Not that. Oh, Goblin and Archomancer, yeah. Not these, not that. Modified. Oh, yeah, modified creatures we control. Hold on. Kodama is telling me there's a thing on my TV that I should clean. We're not stealing people's stuff. Oh, Toski for card draw. Yep. Oh yes, modified creatures we control. Scroll to the top. It is reminding me of other stuff that we can look for, but the Uprising. Oh yeah, Hardened Scales, Tribute to the World Tree, and Branching Evolution. There was something from the creature section that it missed, but let's. Oh, one or more +1. So that's actually kind of neat. It'll probably come out later, but I actually like that. You get a treasure token. That many +1. Yep, that's what I was looking for. Humans. Well, this thing costs 5, so that's a little expensive for that. Kami of Whispered Hopes is one of the other ones I was thinking of. There we go. Modified creatures. I don't think I need to put a U. Whenever one or more modified creatures you control attack, untop all modified creatures you control. After this combat phase, there's an additional combat phase, only once a turn. And then modified creatures you control have haste. Not really worried about that. Modified creatures you control have trample. Modified creatures you control have trample. That's an instant. And then turn this over. As long as you have 5 or more modified creatures, this thing is a 7/7 and has trample. It just has to survive creating a monk, putting stuff on other stuff. Sure, we'll deal with that. What are we at? Oh, that put us exactly at 100. I'm happy with what we did. Like, threw this deck together pretty quickly. So quickly, we have time to do another deck. I am actually going to open the other deck again really quick. Wait, no. There. +1/+1 counters go burr. There. Exclamation point. Save changes. Oh, unlisted instead of private. There. And then we go back to this one because I want to make a change. Where are you? set that as deck image. That's to differentiate this deck from the other deck. So now, we'll call this Gruul 3 for now. T, Legend, T. Because I said I was going to do it, let's do it. Let's also see if she has a different version. All printings. Yep, we're going to use this one. On foil, set commander. Or changeling. Because I have a feeling we're going to need changelings. The bark form harvester, sure, why not? Oh, that's an instant. I should have said creatures. Bloodline pretender to eat removal. Whenever we sacrifice a permanent, this thing gets bigger. That can be a thing we can worry about. Boon Satyr. Oh, well, that's interesting. We can bestow it for 5 to give a creature this. We can either have a 4/2 with flash, or for flash, we can give something 4/2. So, sure, why not? Anything that's actually Satyr goes in the deck automatically, unless it's just absolute unplayable garbage, which probably should be most of these anyway. When it dies, it can damage a creature or planeswalker. I'll come back for the changelings, even though that means I probably shouldn't have even typed them in by themselves. Whenever Fire Drinker Satyr is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to you. That's interesting. That is an actively bad card. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. If you control 6 or more enchantments, instead you may put a creature. Oh, that's neat. We're probably going to want some enchantments in this deck anyway, just to... Sorry. Oh, the Gruff Triplets. There we go. There's a good card. I'm actually going to go to the top and actually look at the other changelings. Champion a creature. That's awful. Haste. Champion a creature. You can pay 4 to double its power. That's actually... It has protection from black. It needs trample. That's what it needs. But that's fine for now. Firebelly Changeling. You can make it a 3/1. Ugh. Okay, Foremost Genesis is sorcery. I don't know why I read it. Heroes of the Revel. Enters the battlefield. Create a satyr that can't block. And then, if we ever target it within our own instant sorcery or auras, creatures we control get +1/+0. Guardian Gladewalker at least puts a counter on something. This thing has trample, but I'm not sure if that's worth 5. This thing can get haste or destroy an artifact. That's decent. I forgot to put rampant removal in here, but that's on me. No, that's awful. When Loam Crafter Fawn enters the battlefield, you may discard 1 or more land cards. When you do, return up to that many non-land permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. Oh, that's neat. Turn extra lands into recursion. Oh, this is a satyr. All creatures gain Forest Walk. Oh, that's actually very good with a certain land that we can put in this deck. This thing can turn a creature in our graveyard into artifact or enchantment removal. Might as well put that in. This can untap a land. Sure. Bestow. Sure. Gain 2 life on enchantments. We'll have to We'll have to do something with enchantments since so far 3 of them. I mean, that's not a lot, but we may as well be ready. The Realm Walker, so we can cast satyrs off the top of our deck. Destroys an artifact. Mana Dork. Whenever an instant or sorcery spell you control deals damage to opponent, sure, why not? We'll put in a couple of instants or sorceries that deal damage, like Lightning Bolt or Lightning Bolt. And on the off chance we draw Lightning Bolt and this is out at the same time. Target creature. Pay 1, sacrifice it to get 3 red. Sure, why not? The Hoplite has Heroic. See, that makes me think that there's enough satyrs that I can actually be picky and not put that one in the deck. Inspired. That's when it becomes untapped, you can pay. Target creature must be blocked this turn. Ooh, it doesn't even say me. I can just pay 4 to mess with someone else's combat. 2/1 with trample, sure, why not? Tanglespan Lookout means we can draw a card with an aura, so we'll probably put some auras in this deck. That'll be a thing. That may or may not be a thing. Creature power 4 or greater, it gets +1/+0, +1/+1 till end of turn. We gain a life if a land is put into our graveyard, sure, why not? We've got to ignore these heroics. Depending on how many auras end up in this deck, though. When this creature enters, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them in your hand with the rest in your graveyard. Considering how garbage this deck is. Oh, Taurian Mauler is actually a good card alert. No. Untaps a land, that's something. Gives itself first strike until end of turn. Boy, that's just a 2/2 for 2. Gain control of target legend. Wow, that is a theft card. Oh, that destroys an artifact on entering. When this enters, if there are 3 or more creatures in our graveyard, we gain 5 life. I'm just going to go to the top, close this. Oh, 34 creatures? That means we can get rid of some of these things. We're going to get rid of at least 4. Grid. Like the Fire Drinker. That thing's objectively awful. Blood Aspirant we're probably going to hold on to. The Constellation stuff we'll pretend. We're just going to pretend. Destroy Artifact. This at least untaps the land. This battle nonsense is not important. Target creature. Weird red ritual thing going on. This thing became worse. What do we got? 2. Self mill. No, that can go away. Untap a land. That was me tapping on my table. We're not doing that. Oh wait, no, that was the good one. Shoot. Shoot, that was actually a good card. Go to deck history. Yeah, that was discard a land to get back non-lands. Put that back in the deck. What are we at for creatures? We're at 31. I just realized another creature I wanted to put into the deck. Let's see. Sacrifice a permanent. Anyway, T creature. Whoops. Oh. Creature type. Not that one, not that one, not that one. That's funny. But it was Metallic Mimic. And Roaming Throne, sure, why not? So that puts us back up at 33 creatures, doesn't it? That's fine. 33 creatures. Oh, it's still in grid. And then open that new tab so we can grab all of the things. Export. We want categories, and we want land, we want protection, and we want ramp, and we want removal. Copy. We can close you. We can import, and then be prepared to remove a bunch of stuff that don't fit the deck. Oh, the pest infestation, by the way, that went into the very first deck. The thing that amused me is that we destroy a bunch of artifacts and we make pests. Who are the pests? Besides being 1/1 creatures that when they die you gain a life, those are the haters. And that's why we gain a life when they die. We can also call them like homophobes or whatever. You know, they're pests. Anyway, land, life gain, self-mill. There it is. That's the one. That was the thing I was going to get rid of, the Satyr Wayfinder. I guess I still want Rhythm of the Wild just because my deck is full of a bunch of awful creatures. Removal. I'm just looking for... There we go. Glissa's Sunseeker. And as much as it's good, the Meteor Golem. Oh, and then we have to go over here. The Narcomancer. Oh. Huh. And then I could do a section of Invited to the Cookout, but when I do these kinds of decks, I kind of... Missing Wanderer, Important Tracker. I'm kind of strict on the typo thing. And also, a lot of these things were already in a deck that I built today. Oh, and I just realized what I want to name this deck. But I got to get through all of this first. Probably could have taken these out before I hit enter, but I did not. Let's see. Okay, so that, yeah, so all of that, only 2 of those sections had stuff in it that I needed to remove. And we're at 92. Let's go by type again, just so we have 32 creatures out of 33 total with our commander. I'm still fine with that. I didn't see anything else I really wanted to put in the deck that I remember a couple of minutes later. Okay, so I think now the rest of the deck, the last 8 cards should be enchantments, since we only have one, and we had several cards that were like, hey, when you cast an enchantment, you get a thing. Or I could remove all of those and put in other stuff, which I feel actually might be the smarter choice. So, remove that. Rather than have this like incidental, unreliable value. This back onto stacks. So we're going to invite some people into the cookout now. How many things say satyr? We're inviting Annex to the cookout because he makes satyrs. Xenagos the Reveler creates satyrs, so he can be invited. In fact, Xenagos. Well, that's interesting. So we're going to invite this fanatic of Xenagos to the cookout because it's either a 4/4 with trample all of the time, or a 3/3 with trample and that has haste and is a 4/4 once. And then we're going to put this Xenagos in here because it's the god of revels. Then let's go Revel. What things care about Revel? So who else is getting invited to the cookout? Though of course we don't need Revelation, but Bedlam Reveler, Devil Horror. The spell costs 1 less for each instant or sorcery in our graveyard. That it also costs 8 for a 3/4. That costs 1 less for each instant and sorcery in our graveyard. We have 7 instants and 7 sorceries. Oh, we're also back up to 31 creatures. Also, I don't think he's invited to this specific party. Alena the Great Revel, though, whenever a player casts a spell with converted mana that costs 3 or less, Alena the Great Revel does 2 damage to that player. The funny thing about that is that we have a lot of spells that qualify for that. Our curve is actually quite low. Yeah. Let's not invite the Eidolon to our cookout. What does Midsummer Revel do? During your upkeep, you may put a verse counter on Midsummer Revel. Okay. And then you can pay green and sacrifice it to put X beasts into play, where X is the number of verse counters. I wonder if it's been oracled that those things are. Nope, they're still beasts. They did not get oracled into satyrs. Godric, Cloaked Reveler. Celebration. As long as 2 or more non-land permanents entered the battlefield under your control this turn, he becomes a dragon with fire breathing. We could invite him to the cookout. Night Revelers, vampires. Haste as long as an opponent controls a human. Is this just a bad scan? Revel of the Fallen God. It costs 6 to get 4 satyrs with haste. Sure. Revel Song Horn? That is just a bad card. Viridian Revel. Whenever an artifact is put into an opponent's graveyard from the battlefield, you may draw a card. Boy, that's a forgotten card that sounds really good in this day and age of food tokens, clue tokens, treasure tokens, blood tokens, and other tokens. Huh. I'm going to have to remember that card exists. Scroll to the top. We're at 93 cards because we had to take a bunch of cards out. We're at 32 total creatures. Oh. We should do something with this since we're discarding at random. It is funny how much, like, I do have a bunch of good cards in here. But, like, if I discard a creature at random, it just really doesn't matter. Oh. You discard. Because there's a card I realized is going to go in here. Oh, Ether Rift. At the beginning of your upkeep, discard a card at random from your hand. If you discard a creature card this way, put that card into play unless any player pays 5 life. Well, that's interesting. And also a reason to have more creatures in the deck. Apocalypse from, yeah, Tempest. That's wild. Discard your hand to exile all permanents. That includes land. That is just a wild, wild, wild card. The containment construct is invited to the cookout. Whenever you discard a card, you may exile that card from your graveyard. If you do, you can play it this turn. We're inviting the conspiracy theorists to the cookout because we can play the card that you discarded. Kate Cage Brawler. She might be too violent for the cookout. Currency converter? Don't really think. Don't think we need it. We could invite Evora Insatiable Heir to the cookout. I know now that I'm being a lot less strict with the typo stuff, but let's be honest, the deck is absolute garbage. Monument to Endurance. Monument to how hard you can party. She creates junk. That wall is awful. That Masticore is... nope. Whenever you discard a creature card, put a +1/+1 counter on the Surly Badgersaur. Whenever you discard a land card, create a treasure token. Whenever you discard a non-creature, non-land card, this thing fights a thing. Sir, sure. Every party has to have something like that, doesn't it? God darn it. We are at 98. SURLY. There we go. So we have 35 creatures, 36 including our commander. And we have a couple of things in here now that cares when we discard a card. And we have so many satyrs. We can hold on to one more. Oh, creature type. That's on me. Amorphous X, Basalt Ravisher, Banner of Kinship. Please go away. Oh, I could edit my lands to have Cavern of Souls, Path of Ancestry. Not really going... Well, no, I should probably at least do Path of Ancestry, because I don't care if they... In fact, I don't even... I was thinking about Herald's Horn, and I'm like, I really don't care about that either, huh? My stuff is so cheap. Though Kindred Charge... Choose a creature type for each creature you control. At least pretend I have a plan to win with this card. Like, yeah, no, this is a very weak deck. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you may add an amount of colorless mana equal to the number of creatures controlled that share a creature type with it. That's interesting. Then there's Molten Echoes, but that's temporary. We are going to put in Path of Ancestry just to get the scry, so I'll have to remove a land. How does this deck win? Oh, Three Tree City. There we go. So that's another one. Urza's Incubator. He's making satyrs for some unknown reason. So, where's the lands? We can take out, let's take out Arena of Glory and Castle Garenbrig, because we don't really need the ramp land. And, oh, that puts us exactly at 100. And we're over 2 hours, so yeah. Whoops, that is not where I wanted to go. So yeah, that was today's decks, wasn't it? Satyrs need more good creatures, I feel. I'm going to change this to categories. It is interesting, like, whatever does, like, just goes creature, because we don't know where else to put this. Blood tokens. Yeah, like, I don't know how this deck wins. Other than Fair Magic, which really puts this as a very weak deck. But I don't hate it or anything. It's just funny. You can dance if you want to. spell words correctly. An unsafe dance, because this certainly isn't a safety dance. Unlisted. There we go. And next week is the start of the 3-color. And I think I'm doing them in alphabetical order. We're just going to go over here really quick. Yeah. Bant, Esper. I have 3 Grixis decks because Grixis has a lot of fun stuff, even though it's also the color of Nico Bolas, who I think is a dork. Not a fan of him or Eugene. Yeah, Jund, Nea. Oh no, I did it in Shard. Then Wedge. That's interesting. Shards of Alara, Wedges from Khans of Tarkir. Yeah, see you next week for Bant. As soon as there we go.